Nigeria Superfans Forum. Once again, I welcome you from around the world, wherever you are joining us from. I remain Ashalolu Afemi. Of course, we can say we're still mourning the passing, the sad passing of Christian Atsu at the age of 31, after his body was pulled out of the rubble at his apartment in Hatay in Turkey. And of course, since his passing, since his remains was brought to Ghana, a lot of ex-internationals in Ghana have been visiting the family home. And of course, the most recent of condolence came from Liberia, from the office of the president of Liberia. I'm talking about George Weah, who spoke very fondly of a Christian Atsu. As a matter of fact, he referred to him as my small brother. So on that note, of course, we'll be looking at development since the passing of a Christian Atsu. Of course, his twin sister, Christiana Trossam, has also been talking about certain mysterious dreams she had before the passing of the late footballer. James Agberebi is here. I won't be doing this alone today. James, you're welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Femi. It's a sad one. The fears that we've been having these days eventually, materialize, and God knows best. Just for the family to move on, the people of Ghana to take heart. I mean, it's Atsu. It's called. His name is Atsu, not Atsu. Atsu, Christian Atsu.
Okay.
So it's a sad one for everybody, and just pray that we continue to rest in the bosom of the Lord.
Okay, so of course, his former coach. Remember, in the 2015 AFCON, where Atsu won the player of the tournament. Avram Grant, the Israeli, has also been talking about his encounter with the former footballer, and all of us, every one of us, have a fond memory of him. But let's start with George Weah, James. No one ever thought that maybe we would be getting this kind of condolence message coming from Christian Atsu. I think a lot of people, they have honor in life and even more honor in death. And of course, that is what the life of Christian Atsu is actually preaching to us. Where George Weah has donated a sum of $10,000 to the family, and he's also been talking about the encounter he had with him. And he said, I'm deeply saddened to hear the devastating news of the passing of my neighbor, my small brother, and my young friend, the late Christian Atsu, who was a victim of the recent earthquake in Turkey. I knew him personally, and in his formative years in the game of soccer. Rest in peace, small brother. James, this was very, very heartwarming, coming from one of the legends of the game in Africa, the only player to have won the Ballon d'Or in Africa, so to say. And this kind of condolence message coming from his office, and of course because his delegation was led by the Liberian community in Ghana. They visited the family home of Christian Atsu, and of course they deeply conveyed the thoughts and prayers of the president to his family.
Yeah, a very sad one. This is not the kind of message you want people to get. Always want to get praises for his exploit on the pitch, but sadly, it's one of regrets, one of condolences. So I mean, it's very sad. So I don't know. I'm short of words. I remember when we were before the tragic news came. We've been talking about what is it called? The wars, that should get prepared for the wars, because of the period, you spent almost over a week under the rubbles, and unfortunately, he didn't make it, So Saldo is a very, I've been able to read a lot about him. I mean, that guy. I mean, if you want to base what he has been doing for people back home in Ghana, you be like, you want to start questioning God, that why is it that people like this, that something like this befell on, So he was so sad. I mean, I read where he helped people in prisons, how he set up business for people, sometimes when he's coming back to Ghana, he comes with football stuff to assist upcoming players. He touched a lot of lives, So I mean, it's sad that what we are just getting, concerning him, our condolences, greetings, and all those things. I mean, it's very sad. just for us to pray that God continue to rest in the bosom of the Lord, that his good deeds will continue to we always remember him for all the good things he did for people, touching life outside the football pitch, touched a lot of lives, and we hope that people will learn a lot from him, that aside from a sport person, there are other parts of he showed us that human side of him, so may so continue to rest in peace.
Okay, of course. So we're also learning that the GFA are considering retiring the jersey number 7 in the Black Stars in his honor. And of course, yesterday, latest development coming in says that the GFA and the sports ministry in Ghana met with his family. And so a 1 week remembrance will be held for Atsu on March 4th at his family residence in Accra. So our thoughts and prayers, of course, this program is dedicated to the memory of Christian Atsu, such a loving guy. James, let's talk about, of course, Abraham Grant has also been talking about the encounter he had with Christian Atsu. And Abraham Grant said when he learned that he was involved in the disaster, remember that the Israeli government sent a number of rescue personnel to Turkey, which contains medical personnel and, of course, some fire response individuals. And he said he got in touch with them to particularly help in rescuing Christian Atsu. But I felt that remember the fake news we first learned that he's been found alive. I think actually thwarted that effort made by Abraham Grant. And of course, he said quickly. I quote what Abraham Grant said. He said okay. He said the news that maybe it was okay and they found him, but it was as you know, it was not true. But we were so happy to hear it, and then day by day it become worse and worse until we found out. He said it's one of the saddest days that I had in my life, to hear about Christian, 31 years old, fantastic person, a good man. This is difficult for me to speak about him now. It's part of the past. It was really, really shocking, a big shock for me. James, even Rafa Benitez, you remember he played under Rafa Benitez at Newcastle. He was talking about the smiles he always wore on his face whenever he's playing, whenever he's not playing. And he said the only words that he could use to describe Christian Atsu was that he was a fantastic guy. I think, you know, I think the value of life actually is not in how long we live, but actually how well we have.
Yeah, there are many people who despite living a very in terms of their age, they have nothing to show for it. I mean, they have no good thing to talk about them. But actually, in his own case, he's never up to 40. But look at the impact he made in the lives of people. He used this platform of as a footballer to touch a lot of lives. So he was able to help a lot of people in his own little way. That's why a lot of people are coming out to say a lot of things. Just imagine what the lot of people he helped. Just imagine what they will be going through now. Because they will be like start questioning God. That why is it that is their benefactor that this kind of thing be fair? So I mean, there are other people too who are not mourning their dead ones. So because actually is someone that is from this part of the world. That's why we are so concerned about this own issue. So I mean, a lot of people who came across him, they will have a lot of things to say about him. Because how many footballers can come out and say they did this, they did that? Fine, there are those that who kind of help people, but they don't. But his own, it's as if his own is so glaring for everybody to see, even though he doesn't come out to boast about it. Someone that you want to blow his trumpet for him. Because I saw pictures, I saw people in prison and people who went to prison, how he was able to settle their bills, how he was able to set people up in terms of their business. Somebody that was so jovial, his teammates always have good things to say about him. So for me, I don't know, I don't know, I don't know what to say again. I mean, it's so heartbreaking that somebody that's still in his prime just went off like that. I don't know. People will continue to see things about him, positive things, because somebody who was the best player in AFCON 2015. I mean, just go to show you the kind of player Atsu was, So, like I said, he so continue to rest in peace, and I will pray that it's what he was able to do. I mean, a lot of people will learn from him that there are so many things you can do aside from playing football that a lot of people will remember you for. Fine, we know him as a footballer, but how many people remember that I can even refer to him as a philanthropist? How many people can testify to that? You know, they don't know him as the footballer, but you'll be shocked the number of people actually was able to touch their lives. You know, a lot of them they are there. You know, so they are the ones that will feel the aside from his family. They are the ones that will feel this because they know that this is somebody that was God sent to Ghana and also to the world.
Okay, so we pray that God will be with his young wife and his two kids. And James, talking about the lessons about the life of Christian Atsu, I think you took that out of my mouth. We'll also be looking at lessons that other footballers can learn from him. But beyond then, I think James, I remember after he passed on, after his body was put out of that rubble. You remember this? One of the social media comedian in Nigeria, Dr. Kras, came out to say that after he lost his father, Christian had to reach out to him and promised that he was not going to drop out of the university. He said because he was close to dropping out. This comedian is a Nigerian, but
Wow.
Atsu all the way from Ghana reached out to him. He said and sponsored his university education till he graduated.
Wow.
So that takes us to the lesson that we think other footballers or other human beings can learn from the life of Christian Atsu. Beyond being a footballer, he was humble.
Yes.
That was evident in his life. And he was a very religious man because I remember one of the interviews he said, without prayer, he wouldn't be what he was. And he was a family man.
Yeah.
According to reports from Ghana, he was close, his immediate and extended family. He pulled everyone together. And you could see with the things that his wife has said about him, you rarely hear about about anything bad about him in the media.
Hmm.
So I think these are some of the lessons that we all can learn from. And he always wears a smile. The smile is always on it. Look at the pictures that he took. I think that is some of the, though in our local palace in Nigeria, they say you don't speak ill of the dead. But
Yeah.
I think this is not about trying to call black white. It is just about who Atsu was, James.
Exactly. We've said a lot about him. I mean, we can't say enough about him. And just like what you just said now, the Nigerian came out to say things about how Atsu, all the way from Ghana, touched helped him. You know, so I mean, it doesn't mean that we don't have Nigerians who would have his own family members who would have done that for him. Imagine Atsu from Ghana. I mean, somebody from all the way from Ghana was able to do this for a Nigerian brother. You know, just go to say that we are all one, no matter the background, our country, or our cultural differences. We are all one. I mean, he didn't even look at that as a Nigerian. He reached out to him and he helped him. So, like I said, Femi, we can't say enough about Atsu. He did a lot. The short time he spent on this head, he was able to make a lot of impact. You know, so I just pray that a lot of other people will be able to learn from this. You know that even though you are a celebrity, you're a very popular person, doesn't stop you from reaching out to people. There are a lot of people who look up to you, and Atsu was able to do that. And I pray that other people too will learn a lot from Atsu.
So we hope that the GFA will at least, like they said, they're planning to retire the jersey number 7 in his honor. So we hope that they will be able to do that. James, let's talk about the intercontinental playoff for the 2023 FIFA Women's World Cup that will be taking place in Australia and New Zealand. Senegal and the Cameroon, who, African representatives who were involved in that competition couldn't make it because we have Portugal, Panama, and of course, we have Haiti. Those are the three
Yes.
countries who have picked final three slots in the competition. James, were you disappointed that Cameroon and Senegal couldn't pick any of, at least one of them, couldn't pick any of the three tickets, I believe?
Yeah, very disappointed because we had a lot of hopes for them, but unfortunately, that's football for you. We also what happened to the Super Eagles too. We had high hopes for them when they played against the Black Stars. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. You know, life goes on. I think the closest, the team that went when the closest was Cameroon. Unfortunately, they considered the late goal against Portugal after drawing the game after coming back. You know, they now went on to consider a late penalty, so it was very painful for them. It's sad because we thought we have more representatives from Africa. You know, after Nigeria, South Africa, Zambia, and Morocco qualified, so we thought maybe we'll have like two more additions to make it 6. Unfortunately, that didn't come out. It's just for them to now go back. I think they will have learned a lot of experience from this qualifiers, this playoff. You know, so I just pray that the ones that qualified, they were able to do Africa proud at the World Cup.
Okay, James, finally, let's talk about the under 20 AFCON World Cup. Yesterday, the Flying Eagles got that needed win against the host Egypt. But James, a lot of Nigerians have complained about the performance of the team, rather than the victory. But were you impressed by what these guys have done in 2 games?
Well, I don't know. Maybe it's a tournament pressure. We saw how bad they played against Senegal and they lost against Egypt. It was a slight improvement, but if you want to look at the balance of play, you want to give it to the Egyptian. But the most important thing in football is about winning, and they got the win. So let's just hope that they will be able to build from this. I watched the game and I wasn't really impressed because the way they were just going route one, I didn't see any pattern, any team coordination, organization. They were just going route one, just from the defense straight to the attack. But when you watch the Egyptian play, you see this teamwork, this organization, this they know what they are doing. But on the part of the Flying Eagles, it was just an eyesore. But like we say, the most important thing is for them to win, which they did. Let's just hope that they would have learned a lot of things from the game against Egypt, because not playing against the host team and beating them is not a mean feat, which they were able to do. So let's just give them the support, and I hope that they were able to wrap things up against Mozambique, because the ultimate target is to qualify for the World Cup. So let's just pray that they were able to give us an improved performance and get the needed results, because the group is still open. Apart from Senegal that have qualified, I think the second slot is still open. If they lost to Mozambique and Egypt go on to beat Senegal, I mean, everything is now open. So they have their destiny in their hands, and then I pray that after going past this Egyptian hurdle, I believe that they will be able to do enough to go past Mozambique.
Okay, James, in 30 seconds, it seems Senegal FA are doing something very right about their football. Remember, AFCON champions, CHAN champions. Now
Yes,
look at
beach
under
soccer
the World
champions.
Cup again. Yeah, I think they are doing something
Yes,
very right about their football.
exactly. That's the thing. That's one thing about football. Countries who know that they are not doing well, the most important thing is to take a back seat, look at what you are not doing well, and come back. And that's why that's what we are seeing in the Senegalese football. They are the best team in Africa. And I remember how long they took, how long they stayed as Africa number one. So it's not by accident. The plan has been there all along. So that's why we are seeing the results. So it's now left for the other African countries to take a leaf from Senegal. And I mean, there's nothing bad in going back to the drawing board. And Nigeria in the 90s, we ruled Africa, and the world noticed us. So it's the turn of Senegal. So let's just sit back. We have the talent, just like the Senegalese, So it's just for us to sit back, learn one or two things, and move on from there. Nothing says that we cannot get back to where we used to be. We all enjoyed the Super Eagles and almost all the Nigerian teams in the 90s. So we have the talent. So why not go back to drawing board and then put things right so that we're able to enjoy our football again.
Okay. Unfortunately, this is where we have to draw the curtain on today's episode of Niger Super Fans Forum. Like I said, this program is a tribute to Christian Atsu. We just had to talk about one or two football events happening in the continent, where it's supposed to just be to talk about Christian Atsu, because there is no sufficient time that will be enough to mourn the passing of this loving brother. So all of us right here on Niger Super Fans Forum, of course, we are still mourning the passing of Christian Atsu, and we pray that God would give his family, his wife, his kids, the extended family in Ghana, and of course everyone all over Africa and around the world, the fortitude to bear this irreparable loss, because he is one of us. He is one of us. James Agberebe, thank you for coming on the show.
Yeah, thank you very much, Remy.
Okay, so in the next coming days, we'll be learning about the preparation for the final burial. Like I said, GFA and the sport ministry and the family met on Wednesday, and they decided to maybe give him like a 1 week remembrance on Saturday. That'll be March 1st. So from there, hopefully, we'll be learning about preparation for to commit his remains to Mother Heart. Until we come your way again, I remain Ashalula Femi. I say, let us learn from the life of individuals like these people who, though they didn't live for too long, but they made maximum impact. Until we see you, I remain Ashalula Femi. Bye for now.